And I take you back when we started Master Networks a little over 10 years ago or so. I'd just come out of a very difficult business that struggled, and we lost a ton of money, nearly lost our house, our cars, everything. And I remember when I brought the idea of a brand new business to my wife. Talk about the toughest sale I ever had. The thing that was so powerful is that here I am, having just come out of a business failure, share a vision with her of a brand new business idea. And so the first lesson comes here. Prior to that moment, everything that had happened that brought us to that challenge, I had to own it, right? It's my fault. There's no one to blame. I think often when challenges happen, we think, well, that's just something that happened to me. No, I mean, all of those things I could control in some way, and I had to own that. Because I did, the one thing that my wife never did during that process is she never blamed me for those challenges. She had every right to, but that would have done nothing for us in our relationship by placing blame. It's such a powerful thing. So if you're in business or you're a spouse of somebody who's in business, those challenges can happen, but blaming does not serve anyone well. And again, the key nuance to that is because the person who's running the business has to be honest and own the things that are going well and not going well. I think where the challenge comes in is often as business owners, we're like so optimistic that we sometimes misrepresent, or I see people sort of misstate what's happening, and that creates distrust, which is different. If you're honest and upfront about the challenges you're having, then I think as a couple, there's no reason to blame, right? It just, you got yourself there, and the good news is you can get yourself out. And so that's the place to focus. So I think because there was no blame put there, when I brought the new idea, the new mission, the new vision of what I wanted to create, she was open to hearing it. And this is where the second powerful lesson came in. And I hope you hear this so that you can benefit from her wisdom in sharing this with me. But when I pitched the idea, again, keep in mind the context we just struggled and suffered through. We're in the midst of all these struggles of not really having a lot of any money, quite frankly, having 5 children, worried about keeping our home and all of that. And now I'm sharing this business idea. That's the context. She said, okay, I'm gonna give you 6 months. I'm gonna give you 6 months to make this successful and turn it into something. Now, is that reasonable or unreasonable? I don't know. Probably not entirely, but here's the great lesson. If she had just said yes and then come back to me at 6 months and said, hey, where's this thing at? Is it successful? Is it not? That would be an expectation she had on me that I had no idea about. But because she said, look, let's take 6 months and let's see if this can be successful, we were able to create an agreement between the two of us, right? Because there was no blame at the beginning. Now we have this agreement on what needs to happen in a certain period of time. I'm clear about what I have to do. She's clear about what I'm going to be doing so that when I come back at 6 months, this is what we agreed to. This is what we talked about. Often I've told that story, I've reiterated that point, and people always ask me like, so what happened? Clearly our business is still here, but the reality is I didn't meet that goal at the 6 month mark, but I had made progress and I reported on that progress and I shared, here's where we're at, here's what's happening. And she said, all right, let's take it out another 6 months and see if we can keep building on that. And so we set another agreement. And then there became a time where things just started to take off and we made money at it. And we didn't need to have that sort of like, will this still work agreement. Now it was like, let's give it all of our attention and effort. So again, don't place blame and make agreements, not expectations. Just because somebody who doesn't operate in the business every single day doesn't mean they don't have great business ideas. And my wife has taught me that. You know, she'll often say, well, I'm not a business person. I don't have business ideas. But the reality is she looks at it differently than I look at it because I'm an operator, I'm an owner of a company. I'm in it every day. And she's not, in the sense of being here and working here. She doesn't work in our company. And so when I can come home and I can share things, I really value her wisdom. I really value her listening. I really value her advice. And I value the thing that she can see that I sometimes can't, because she knows me better than anyone. And so she could say, well, have you thought about this? Or, hey, slow down and kind of focus on this. Or is that real? What's the perspective here? And that's a valuable thing. So if you're working a business and you have a spouse, I would challenge you to think 2 things. I love the lesson that she's taught me because she can give me great counsel into this business. She also can push me when I need to be pushed. I remember when we first started the business too, back in one of those periods of 6 months that she gave me, and I got beat up one day and she could just tell when I came in the door. And so she walked over, she gave me a hug and then gave me a pep talk as she whispered in my ear. She said, you hired up for a tough guy, now make good. And for those of you who don't know, that's the title of my second book, which is called Now Make Good. And we'll put the link in here if you want to figure out how to get that book and get it shipped to you. But that Now Make Good is something that's always driven me. And so She can push me when I need to be pushed. But if you look at all three of those lessons that she taught me, in each one of them, I played a role and she played a role. And that's the point. If you have a significant other or a spouse in business, it's important to keep communication open. Create boundaries and rules on what is okay to talk about, what is really like, hey, I don't want every problem put on her or whatever it is. Create those boundaries, create those rules, create the spaces where you can sit down and have conversations about the state of your company, the state of your business, because I don't believe you have a business life and a personal life. They come together. There's just no way they don't. And I think the biggest challenge that I see in relationships when it comes to a business is when the business owner just isn't forthright, upfront, and forthcoming in what's happening. And when you are, and when you're straightforward on that, then this comes together and you can have a really significant relationship based around this business. And your life doesn't run your business supports your life. And that's the way it really should be. Hey, if you found this valuable, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to our channel for more content like this. If you can think of a business owner who could really benefit from this, I would love it and be honored if you would share this video with them and that it can be valuable in their life. Remember, honesty is the key. And as a spouse and significant other in your life, you can really have a business serve you and help you create a life worth living.